Hey everyone, welcome back to the film Frontline. I'm so glad you're here because today we are diving into the absolute chaos that is the finale of this horror experiment. We finally reached the end of the road with The Strangers Chapter 3, and honestly, we need to have a serious girl-to-girl chat about what just went down. This trilogy was marketed as this massive, interconnected slasher epic. But now that the credits have rolled on the third installment, is it a masterpiece of suspense or just a major what was the reason moment? Put on your headphones and grab your coffee because we are breaking down every single detail of this final chapter. So, let's set the scene. Chapter 3 picks up right where we left off, with Maya, played by the ever-resilient Madeline Petch, pushed to her absolute limit. If you've been following this journey, you know Maya has been through it. She's lost her partner, her sense of safety, and basically her entire world in the span of what feels like one long, never-ending night. In this finale, the vibe shifts from pure survival to something a bit more aggressive. We're seeing a version of Maya who is no longer just running. She's looking for retribution. She is bloodied, she is exhausted, but she is finally picking up the shotgun. The film tries to lean into the psychological trauma of it all. It spends a lot of time in Maya's head, showing us the scars, literal and metaphorical, left by the masked trio. We get these long, atmospheric sequences where the tension is supposed to be mounting, echoing that classic home invasion dread that the original 2008 film perfected. The cinematography definitely tries to make you feel claustrophobic, using a lot of tight shots and low-light environments to make you feel like Scarecrow, Pin-Up Girl, or Dollface could be standing right behind you at any second. But here is where the breakdown gets a bit messy. The biggest selling point of this trilogy was that it was one continuous story split into three parts. The director, Rennie Harlin, promised us a deep dive into the why and the how. However, as we get into the meat of Chapter 3, it feels like the movie is stalling. Instead of giving us the deep lore or the shocking revelations we were craving, it falls back on the same slasher tropes we've seen in the previous two chapters. There are moments where you're screaming at the screen because the logic just isn't giving. Why is she going back into the house? Why isn't she staying in the light? It feels like the characters are making horror movie mistakes just to keep the plot moving, which is a bit of a letdown for a finale that was supposed to be the grand conclusion. Now, let's talk about the masked killers. One of the coolest parts of The Strangers has always been their lack of motive, the iconic "because you were home" line. In Chapter 3, the film flirts with giving us more background on them, but it never quite commits. We see hints of a larger connection or perhaps a cult-like mentality in this town, but the payoff feels a bit hollow. There was so much potential to explore the industry implications of a horror trilogy shot all at once, but narratively, it feels like they stretched about 3 hours of story into 6 hours of film. Here's my film Frontline take. Honestly, I'm feeling a bit conflicted. On one hand, Madeline Petch is a total star. She carries this entire movie on her back, and her final girl energy is 10 out of 10. She makes you feel every ounce of her pain and desperation. If this movie succeeds at anything, it's proving that she can lead a franchise. However, the pacing is a major ick. For a movie that's supposed to be the climax of a trilogy, it feels surprisingly lifeless at times. It's like the writers were so afraid of ruining the mystery of The Strangers that they forgot to give us a satisfying ending. The scares are predictable, the jumps are loud but empty, and the final confrontation, while brutal, doesn't quite hit that emotional high I was expecting. It feels more like a whimper than a bang. If you're a diehard slasher fan, you'll appreciate the gore and the aesthetic, but if you are looking for a revolutionary take on the genre, this might leave you wanting more. In the end, The Strangers Chapter 3 is a serviceable send-off, but it definitely feels like a missed opportunity to do something truly groundbreaking with a trilogy format. It's a beautifully shot, well-acted slasher that just happens to be running on a treadmill. But I want to know what you think. Was the ending everything you hoped for, or are you feeling as underwhelmed as I am? Do you think the mystery should have stayed a mystery, or did you want more answers about the killers? Drop your theories and your rants in the comments below. I'll be reading them. And if you want more deep dives into the latest in cinema, make sure to smash that subscribe button and join the squad here at the Film Frontline. Until next time, stay safe and maybe lock your doors.